My name is Danny Hayes. I'm the breakfast presenter at Nation Radio Wales. I started there in June 2012, so I've been there 2.5 years now. I started there on the news desk, and now I still do news, but I also co-host the breakfast show. It felt at the time like it was a bit of a whirlwind. It's only when you come away from it, you realise how much you've picked up during the process, because you're so involved in so many different roles and different elements of, part of a radio programme and part of a radio station, that you realise how much you've actually picked up during it. The good thing about exposure is you can walk away with it knowing that you've had a go at doing loads of different roles. So you might go into it thinking, oh, I really don't want to be a producer, so why do I have to do this? Or I don't want to work in news, so why do I have to bother sitting on the news desk and finding stories? Because you actually come away with it with a whole different outlook of radio and maybe the avenues that you want to go down. For me, I was never really that bothered about working in news. It was never something that really majorly appealed to me until I did exposure. And spending a week on the news desk, I suddenly realised, wow, this is actually what I really enjoy doing. Be prepared to kind of, go into it all guns blazing really, but just make sure you're planned. Always have some backup content if you're working on live shows to make sure you can fill those hours, because sometimes, just reading something, a tiny amount of information off a small script isn't going to fill 10 minutes. It'll probably surprise you how little time half a page of A4 will actually fill. So always have the backup content and just go into it really prepared. Keep hold of everything you do during your time. Be organised, be as organised as possible. Keep hold of all your paperwork, keep hold of any features, any audio of anything you do, because then coming out of it, it'll make the whole process a lot easier. Use your time at uni really, really efficiently, because lots of the technology and lots of the equipment that's here is actually used in the professional industry today. In fact, the myriad software that's used in these studios, we use at Town and Country Broadcasting, who own Nation Radio. So I went into a job knowing exactly how to use the equipment, and I settled straight in that way. So make good use of the fact and all the facilities that you've got around you. Make demos while you still can, because then when you walk away with uni, you've got things that you can take to employers and say, look, this is what I can do. And also, get your name out there. Get people to start realising who you are. Get work experience, work for free if you need to. Just get your foot in the door and then don't leave. Take a deep breath is probably the easiest thing to say when you're in this situation. It's a whole different ball game. But just try and stay as calm as possible. You might be stressing out, freaking out, but sometimes there's nothing you can personally do about it. So take your time. To be honest, you'd rather things go dead air for a little while than to actually fill the time with just some frantic noise of nothing. That's not always the best way, really. In a professional industry, if you're off air for a long amount of time, the emergency tape will kick in. Some music will kick in somewhere along the line. It might be 90 seconds down the line, but you know what? That silence and that music kicking in is probably better than you going on the air and freaking out and stressing out about something. So just try and remain as calm as possible and just deal with it in the best way you possibly can. I used uni and the studios here to make some demos. I got those demos out there, and the way that I did it was, as I mentioned earlier, getting some work experience, working for free. You know what? It just shows your initiative. It's not the best of things. You might have to trek somewhere to get in, but just do it and just show that you are willing and able to work. And you know what? Just show how keen you are for the industry. I started off doing that. I did some work experience. People realised that I was willing to do these things. It was wandering around Cardiff Bay with a microphone, getting voxes off people to do a music request lunchtime show. it wasn't the most fun thing in the world, but for me, it was amazing. I was working in a professional radio station, you know, for nothing, but I was there. From there, people saw that I was willing to do stuff. I got a job on the street team. I was getting paid to go out and promote a radio station that I loved. And then I made myself kind of, you know, people were aware of who I was and what I could do. And again, I got some work experience on the news desk, which finally led to me getting some freelance work.